We were having a great conversation during Detroit Lions Weekly. If you guys been paying attention to the banner, happens mostly every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what we talked about, what we discussed is the void that I believe Josh Reynolds is going to leave. Now, I know a lot of you guys, I don't know what kind of vibe you get from me, if it's haughty, if it's arrogant. It's none of that. I'm not trying to give off that vibe. But what it is like I told you guys before, I'm just a numbers dude, and I follow numbers and I follow trends and patterns. And that's one of the ways that you can be successful on YouTube, but you got to be able to read your numbers. You got to be able to look at them, right? And I feel that the Detroit Lions offense could regress. Now, before you go all crazy in the comment section, it's not because of Ben Johnson or anything like that. And I know it might be a bit of a stretch, but I think that it's not preposterous to say that the Lions offense could regress. And why am I saying that? Because clearly the Detroit Lions lack a wide receiver 4 option. You could even argue 3 if you actually look at last year's stats. And we're going to take a look at those in a second. Now, I believe that Josh Reynolds is going to be missed 100%. And we'll talk about why I believe that in a second. But before we go any further, let's look at the Detroit Lions 2023 stats for receiver. Now, we know our guy, Amon-Ra St. Brown, number 1, had 1,515 yards, and he missed a game. He only missed one game, the Carolina Panther game. That was it. One game, not including the playoffs. The second game, the second person, Sam Laporta, 17 games, had 898 yards. Look who our third wide receiver is. Wide receiver number 3 was Josh Reynolds. Now, Khalif Raymond is undervalued in my opinion, but he might not even be wide receiver 3. So if we go off this year, we can take this guy, okay, and you can enter swap. As a matter of fact, let me call it how I think it's going to go. Sam Laporta will probably be 3rd in receiving. Jameson Williams will probably be 2. So right now, Jameson Williams is going to come up. We all expect him to come up and take away, become wide receiver number 2. Sam Laporta probably will be 3. And then who's going to be after that? Who's going to be wide receiver 4? The discrepancy between what Sam Laporta did, okay, and what Khalif Raymond did, although he did miss. Oh, right, he got hurt in the Minnesota game. He played all 17, but he got hurt. The discrepancy is exactly 400 yards. I think that this guy right here is going to be missed. I truly believe that. The reason that I say that is because you need a middleman. Remember Dan Campbell used to called him the serpent of death. This guy, Josh Reynolds, is going to be missed. And my honest opinion is it was a mistake not to pay him. Whether or not you thought he was 29 and he was approaching the wrong side of 30. I think it was a mistake. And I think it could potentially hurt our offense. Now you could say, well, Derek, we got Jameson Williams. We've got Jahmyr Gibbs. We've got Sam Laporta. We've already known that we want to get these guys more acclimated and more involved in the passing game. So let's look at those guys. So Gibbs Reynolds was 3, Raymond was 4, Williams was 5. Gibbs was number 6, had 316 yards, okay? But again, we're talking about wide receiver 4. Wide receiver 4. And then after that, there's nobody left. Really, I'm not even Montgomery. Donovan Peoples-Jones is the closest thing we have to a receiver. And we got pretty far last year. We got pretty far with essentially, if we look at this, we only had 4 wide receivers that were really doing anything. Donovan Peoples-Jones. And this kind of tells you how we spread the ball around. But here's my thing, and this is why I think a lot of Lions fans could be getting ahead of themselves when they say we'll be fine. Is while I agree we'll be fine if you look at the grand scheme of things, I do think our offense could take a hit if we do not replace the Josh Reynolds role. Why? Because Sam Laporta is not a rookie anymore. Jahmyr Gibbs, not a rookie anymore. These guys, even though guys tried to stop Sam Laporta, they tried to game plan for him, they couldn't. but that was last year. This is this year. They're going to be planning for Jahmyr Gibbs. They're going to be planning for Sam Laporta. And we're going to have J-Mo, something that we didn't really have him last year like he's going to be this year. But here's the thing. When the defense game plans to take away, you're not going to be able to take away all of them guys. You might be only take away a few. Maybe you take Amon-Ra St. Brown out of the game. That leaves J-Mo. That leaves Sam Laporta. Maybe you take a Laporta out. Maybe you take a J-Mo out. It's going to be tough to do if you can't stop him, right? But what about that guy in the middle? And you can see last year, we can swap. Let's swap Josh Reynolds at wide receiver number 3 for Jameson Williams. I just believe that the defenses, every year is different. And they've had an entire offseason. You got to remember something too. They didn't have an offseason to plan for Sam Laporta. Now they do. They got 20 games of film on the NFL, right? From the NFL. But I think Sam Laporta is going to be great, like Kelsey, like a Kittle, where it's very difficult to take them out the game. But I still think that intermediate guy, receiver, wide receiver, we are missing. I'm not even going to put Khalif Raymond up there because Khalif Raymond didn't even crack 500 yards receiving the football. So while I don't think it's the end of the world, why I don't think it's going to be devastating, I do believe that we are going to miss Josh Reynolds. And it's quite possible that unless the Detroit Lions sign a receiver from somewhere, I mean, at this point, we're even talking about a Juju Smith-Schuster, a Robert Woods. I mean, look, Ben Skoranek. It doesn't, at this point, unless they get somebody who is capable of filling in that Josh, because see, what Josh Reynolds did is he took pressure off those other guys. We don't have that. And that's the whole point of this video. We don't have a guy on our team who can feel Josh's numbers, who can take pressure off this. Donovan Peoples-Jones can. He maybe, if he makes the team. If he makes the team. I want to see something real quick. Let's look at DPJ, and we looked at this before. Let's look at what he did. So Josh Reynolds had 606 yards, I think, last year. Donovan Peoples-Jones, if he was 2, he would have to equal his year 2 and year 3 totals to take pressure. If he was this guy, then you're talking. Now we found that replacement. But even with that being said, this is the closest to Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds had 64 targets, had 40 catches. This guy in Donovan Peoples-Jones in year 2 had 58 targets on 34 catches. So I think this is the closest, and that was in 14 games. So DPJ has the potential, but this dude might not even make the team. And that's why I'm asking, do the Lions need a wide receiver 4? Do they need a wide receiver 4? So I'm going to say, I think they do. I think they need a wide receiver 4 because, again, yesterday's price ain't today's price. Last year's outcome ain't this year's outcome. And although we will have a Jameson Williams in probably the best form he's been in since he's been in the NFL, teams are going to adjust and game plan for this. They might not have too much tape on J-Mo. So they might try to take a Gibbs out of the equation. Laporta. I don't know. I feel like letting Josh walk was a mistake, especially in favor of DPJ, seeing as how DPJ, and you know what? I said if I had to choose between the two, I would have chosen DPJ, and it looks like I was wrong. I will 100% admit that I was wrong. I simply was saying that because you have a 24, you have what are we talking? A 25-year-old versus a 29-year-old. But as I said in my live stream today, what does age matter if you're still producing? It really doesn't. If you can be on the, quote, wrong side of 30 and you're still producing. Jared Goff, Josh Reynolds, a lot of guys. I mean, look, Aaron Rodgers. Robert Woods. You know what I'm saying? There's guys over 30 that still produce. We even had a conversation about one yesterday. Matthew Judon, Khalil Mack, 33 years old. Had, 16 sacks? Something crazy last year, although 6 were in one game. You get my point. My point is, age is only a thing if your production slows down. So I think we're going to miss Josh Reynolds. I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it can be undone right now, meaning we can definitely feel the void. But as of this moment, I think there is a void left by Josh Reynolds. And I think that Dan Campbell knows that. That's why he's pleading for one of these guys to step up. And he is essentially begging these guys, hey, show us something, because we don't have a job. He even name dropped Josh Reynolds earlier last week in the press conference. So I wish we would have paid him. I think he earned it. I think he deserved it. And I think the offense is going to hurt, but how much? I don't know. I don't know. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think it was a mistake to let Josh Reynolds walk? And how much, if so, do you think the Detroit Lions offense will be restricted? I'll use that word, restricted, based on not having a wide receiver 4. When Sam Laporta was doing this thing, that dude was wide receiver 2. So I don't know. Dan Orlovsky said we had the worst wide receiver room in the national in the NFC, and I would have to agree. Didn't really affect us last year because we spread the ball around, but like I said, yesterday's price ain't today's price. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Just something I was thinking about. Shout out to everybody in Detroit Lions Weekly. We had some good dialogue, and it prompted me, and I said, you know what? I'm going to make a video about that. So let me know what you think. Also, the giveaway, by the time you see this video, the giveaway will have ended. The time frame to claim the prizes, and only one was claimed. Felganos was the winner of the choice, the number 1 choice. He or she chose the, I believe it's a he, chose the 3D wall art. So the other 2 prizes, the sign and the pendant, will be carried over to the 22,000 subscriber giveaway, which we're over halfway to there. And y'all really, really liked the 3D wall art. You really did. So what I think I'm going to do is maybe I'll try to get 3 of those, or maybe I'll get 2 of them, and then I will get something else, because the 3D wall art was a smash. It was a smash. Most of the comments was like 3D wall art, 3D. It was a few for like the pendant and the sign, but I was trying to do them in order of value. So like this one, this one, this one. Ironically, they're all $10 apart from each other. I didn't even realize that when I bought it. So anyway, let me know. Let me know. Maybe I'll get a grab. I'll grab. So we'll have 5 or 6 giveaways. So there'll be 5 or 6 winners. So you know what? I feel like every single time we do this, there'll be prizes unclaimed. So anyway, you guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.